Hello, everybody. This is Francois Gauthier. I'm going to talk again today about the coronavirus. Now, I was in Paris for 10 days and I noticed that the French went on with their normal business. People would go in the metro. In fact, I took the metro, which is quite crowded in Paris, very frequently with my wife. Cafes were full, people were going about at their jobs. Everything seemed more or less normal. The only people wearing masks were the Chinese, probably because their government told them so to reassure people that they do not have the coronavirus. Then yesterday, as I'm an OCI and India is closing down the doors on the OCIs today, I came back. I flew from Paris back to Delhi. Now, I was very surprised to see that the Paris Charles de Gaulle airport was nearly empty. I have never seen the Charles de Gaulle airport as empty as that. There was very little traffic. We were able to take off very quickly. And this worried me because this is a sign that people are scared, that they're taking rightly or wrongly this coronavirus threat very seriously. And it set me thinking that it's going to be a great crisis, great world economic crisis, whether the coronavirus threat is real or not. That airlines, the first airlines are going to suffer so much. Everybody is curtailing flights. Lufthansa has cut down flights by 50%. Many airlines are curtailing flights to India. So airlines are going to suffer a lot. Then, of course, tourism. If people stop getting out of their homes by fear, from fear, then tourism is going to also to suffer a lot. Now, back in India, of course, I'm in Delhi, life is pretty normal. Also, you see people going about. There are more masks here than there are in Paris. Now, I'm very baffled about this coronavirus. I don't know whether it is a panic that is seizing the world and making everything come to a standstill, or whether they're a real threat. Because I have met many doctors in France, and they all told me that first, you can recover from coronavirus. Secondly, it's not a deadly disease. And there are more people dying of every day from cancer or heart attacks or anything, road accidents, than coronavirus. So why this great panic seizing the world? In India, for instance, I personally would like India, at a time where the entire world has ceased doing business with China, to position itself as an economic alternative to China. That, look, we are here, you can come and manufacture your medicines. When I was in France, many of the pharmacists told me that most of their medicines are made in China. The common medicine like Doliprane, which is a paracetamol, made in China. I had lunch with a director of Renault, and he told me that many of the car parts of Renault, of the car maker Renault, were made in China. So suddenly the world finds itself without an economic partner, and a lot of things in the West depend on China now. Isn't it time for India to propose itself, that we are here, we are an advanced nation, we are more friendly than Chinese, we are a democratic nation, we have a judicial system in place where your investments are safe. It's time that you relocate some of your business here. But instead, I'm a little concerned that India is closing its doors. Of course, for the right reasons, to position itself, to stop people from entering and propagating the coronavirus into India. But I don't know. If I were the Prime Minister of India, I don't think, I would tell people to be careful, to wash their hands, to have proper hygiene, and maybe to wear a mask even, but not scare them, not close down. And everybody is doing the same. Everybody is doing the same all over the world. Close down entire schools, entire districts. Hit the Indian economy hard. Close down. Access to the French people who are friendly to India, who would like to invest in India. I think Air France was planning to open again a route from Paris to Chennai, which has been long pending. So I'm a little concerned that the threat of coronavirus has been amplified a million times by the media. It is the media that puts pressure on governments, not the people, I think. It's more the media, with images that scare people, with statistics that scare people. So governments come under the pressure of the media and they fall for it. They fall for it. They're everywhere, not only in India. Now, the next 10 days or 2 weeks will tell us if that threat is real. There are some people who say that 70% of Germany is going to be affected by coronavirus. All right, I mean, maybe, I don't know. But at the moment, it's not so. I mean, the cases are very few. I think in France, there are maybe, I don't know, 40 deaths due to the coronavirus. In India also, it's very, very few. So each country is vying for, showing that it is most vigilant about the coronavirus. I don't know. And also, in occult, if you look at the way occult, the invisible forces that work in the world, the mother of Pondicherry had said that this type of very virulent viruses, like they had the Spanish flu, in the early 20th century, that killed millions of people, there are Asuric forces behind them. It is not that it's just an accident. There are usually adverse forces, Asuric forces behind them, and they have to be fought not only physically but also spiritually. And there are great gurus in India whose task it should be. And in the case of the coronavirus, it comes from China. I have personally considered China to be a threat, to be a nation, which is not only hostile to India, but also hostile to the world, that has a, kind of evil. I mean, maybe evil is a strong word, but, of devious, evil intentions of conquering the world economically, politically, military. We know that for sure for India, that China has evil designs on India, that it claims Arunachal Pradesh, it's encircling India everywhere, in Kashmir, in Nepal, in Sri Lanka. It's building a new Silk Road through Pakistan, Kashmir, to spread their goods onto Europe from Pakistan, from the deep sea port of Gwada. So for me, China is an evil nation. I mean, there are people who disagree, but so this virus came from China. Nobody knows whether it was triggered by the fact that Chinese eat all kind of foods, which is often killed live in front of their eyes, or whether, the Chinese military was researching some kind of, every nation does research on biological warfare. So it is possible that the Chinese were, researching on the virus and that somehow it escaped, contaminated one person, will in turn, I don't know. I'm not a prophet. But what is for sure is that this epidemic is going to do great harm, whether it is as damaging physically for the health that people are saying, or whether it is just going to fizzle out in a few months. It is going great economic harm to the world, and it's setting up the cards again, and in a good way. I think the world needs to take cognizance of the fact that they depend too much on the Chinese, and the Chinese are very unpredictable people. And this is why I keep promoting India, that it's time for India to take the lead, to become the competitor of China in terms of Western investments. So I do hope that India will take this opportunity to get more investments, to get more interest of the world, to come up as a superpower that she deserves to be, and ultimately that her knowledge and her light will spread onto the world. Namaste.